Hello there, Ray here. Today guys, I have an amazingly easy automatic AFK wither skeleton farm, allowing you to get tons of wither skeleton skulls, as well as many other loots. We designed this farm so it quickly could be built up, yet efficient in producing wither skeleton skulls. If you guys do enjoy farms like this, be sure to go ahead and subscribe. This easy wither skeleton farm produces a wide variety of items, from bones to arrows, rotten flesh, golden nuggets, magma cream, raw chicken and feathers, as well as coal, and most notably the wither skeleton skulls. And all these items can be attained with the player just AFKing in one spot without having to click or do any other types of input. The design is small and can be adjusted to your needs, and if you don't want to use redstone, you can actually not put in this bottom layer right here, and it's not needed to get the wither skeleton skulls. Each layer consists of just 3 dogs and an iron golem. And I'll show you guys how easy it is to get these guys. The farm can be built fairly easy without having to do much work, and you don't need a perimeter, you don't even need to slab the area if you don't want to. I'll explain that more later in the video. The way that the farm works is the mobs will spawn on top of this nether rack here, and once spawned in, if it's a type of a skeleton, it's going to be scared by the dogs, and it's going to walk away from them. Once it gets close enough to the other side, it'll be able to see the iron golem over here, walk over here, fall down a chute, and down here, the dogs will go ahead and bite at it and kill it. This will provide loot similar to if the player had killed it. And this now once again works again because they fixed that bug that reported about dogs when killing mobs weren't dropping the proper loot. Once a dog has killed the mob, the items are going to get picked up through the soul sand. We just got some hoppers here and they'll go down into the chest down below. And because it's counted as a player kill, you also get lots of swords off of the wither skeletons. There's also a chance that you'll get the wither skeleton skulls. Now, this farm also produces a wide range of other mobs, like normal skeletons that spawn here, and they're going to immediately start taking damage from the wither roses, and wither roses will give off the wither effect to any mob that's inside of it that can take the effect. Now, stuff like wither skeletons and withers are immune to the wither effect, and therefore we can immediately get them separated away from them. We also can have magma cubes spawn in here, all sizes, so you can get the small ones, medium ones, and you can even get the large ones inside of here as well. Now, they'll also take wither damage from the wither roses, and they will die and break up into smaller pieces. If they happen to make it to the edge, they'll just fall out to the side, and then they will despawn because they'll be out of the range of the player. This is how you can get magma cream from this farm. You also will get blaze to spawn in Cyber since this is another fortress, but they'll just die from the wither roses, and since the blazes drop is counted as a player kill, will not get any blaze rods from this farm. Now, it is possible to make a blaze farm using dogs as well as other methods, as I have shown you guys in the past. If you want a blaze farm, check out those videos which I'll link down below. Pigmen are also another thing that spawns quite frequently here, and the pigmen will actually be able to walk towards some pearl eggs that we have over here, and they'll attempt to try to step on them and break them. Instead, they will fall down through this hole here, and they will end up down in the bottom, same place as the wither skeletons, except they will die from this wither rose down here if they don't die from the fall damage. And their loots will be collected up the same way. Now, any mobs that happen to die directly on top of the wither roses have another option of getting their loots picked up, as we have a hopper minecart going underneath. Now, this is optional if you want to have some extra loots, arrows, bones, magma cream, as well as golden nuggets. This is a great option to add in. It's not very hard to add in this addition. Just got some rails and some simple redstone here with the items down into the chests below. Now, both layers are exactly the same, and with a simple step, there is around 720 spawning spaces for mobs, which is a lot of spawning for such a small area here. This farm uses one of the intersections in a nether fortress. This is an intersection here, which is a 19 by 19 area where nether fortress mobs can spawn in here. And what we did is we just tore down this small intersection here, and we went ahead and built up the farm here. The materials needed to build this farm are fairly simple. We got some nether rack here. We also got some wither roses, which I've shown you guys in the past. You can make a simple wither rose farm, which I'll have linked down below. So you get tons of wither roses, and that shouldn't be any problem. It doesn't have very many dogs. So there's 3 dogs in each layer, just 3 here, as well as 3 here. We also have 4 dogs down here to help keep up with the wither skeletons, as farm produces quite a few, so you need a couple of dogs down here to help get rid of all of them. Each of these dogs are inside of a minecart, which I'll show you guys how to do. There's just a simple drop shaft here, and like I said, the rails are optional if you want to have them in or not. And you can always use a rail duper if you want to not actually get the materials to build up these rails, and I will link that down in the description as well. The dogs themselves are standing on top of a glass block or any block that won't stop the spawns, like a slab. Then we got soul sand here. Dog is in a minecart above it, and there is a trapdoor right here. The dog is this high up to prevent tiny magma cubes from hopping up here and pushing his minecart around. And the trapdoor is above him to prevent medium-sized magma cubes from jumping up here and pushing him around. Now the dog as well as the iron golem are both safe from skeletons. Skeletons will immediately start taking damage. Even if they see the iron golem, they will be too busy taking damage to actually shoot at him. You don't have to worry about the iron golem dying whatsoever. Now, the pigmen as well as the wither skeletons will walk over here and walk down the shaft. And the iron golem will try to attack aggressive mobs such as pigmen as well as wither skeletons if they get any closer than where I have them currently. And what makes this farm so efficient, even with minimal amount of spawn proofing the area, is this farm uses a cool concept I showed you guys way before they accidentally broke the dog's loot tables, where you can have dogs near the farm killing the wither skeletons for you, but you can have the player actually quite far away. And in this farm here, I have the player actually AFKing above the bedrock, which allows the mobs only to spawn in a very small area around the player. Meaning the mobs are going to be forced to spawn inside your farm rather than being spawned anywhere else around the area. And getting through the nether ceiling in survival isn't difficult. I'll show you guys the easy way to do it right here. And I did a whole video showing different ways to get through this nether ceiling, which I'll link down below. So if I just do that, I got through the ceiling. The player just AFKs up here, and this is at about Y level 162. This will depend on your farm. The way they figure out how high you're supposed to go with your AFK spot, go ahead stand here, and we're currently at Y level 33. Then we add 127 to that. That is the distance within the sphere for the player to be able to AFK, and the mobs won't despawn if they are just on the edge of it, as long as they don't go outside of it. That'll put us up here at Y level 160. If you go higher, like if you're up this high, the mobs that fall down that drop shaft and are supposed to be killed by the wolves will actually despawn before they touch the bottom. If you're noticing any problems, just lower yourself down by one. I can show you guys the actual area around the player where mobs are able to spawn in using a function that Logical Geekboy made. So go function, logical, and made one called show sphere. Go ahead and hit enter. You can see that they have put armor stands that are glowing all the way around the player in a big sphere. And this is the area inside here where mobs are able to spawn around the player. Anything outside this, mobs won't be able to spawn. Really cool tool. If you guys want to check out this tool, I'll link to his video where he shows it. Very useful to seeing where you need to spawn proof the area if you want to make your farm more efficient. This is kind of what the row looked like before I modified it too much, so you can see there is still a rough here edges. And what I did to get this nice area that has mostly lava and very few spaces that you have to come in here and spawn proof if you choose to. You can also run this farm without spawn proofing anything if you just find a decent location like this. This is the type of location you want to look for when making a wither skeleton farm. What it is a nether fortress that is mostly inside of a lava lake. And if you kind of stand in the center of the intersection which you're going to build your farm in, you should not be able to see too much of the walls with a high render distance. You want at least a render distance of 12 or greater, and if you're on a server, you want it also to be 12 or greater. Otherwise, you could have problems to do with mob spawning. Notice this location is pretty well. Only a little bit over there can I kind of see some land mass, and if you look around on the ground as well, since it's a sphere, the edges quickly slope upwards. Really don't have to worry about anything down at this level affecting the farm. So even if this whole area here was netherrack where mobs could spawn, it's outside of this sphere, so you don't have to worry about it. Only right here along the edge can you see our sphere intersects this big landmass here. If you want to, you can choose to put down slabs or even put down buttons. Buttons are a little easier because you can just hold down right click, and as long as you're facing the ground, they're going to be placed down immediately. If you're doing slabs, you hold down, you can accidentally put too many layers on. And 2 layers is just as bad as having no slab at all. Buttons are cheap and easy to craft up. Ideally, the only thing you'd have to really slab or spawn proof would be the nether fortress itself, as the fortress is where you're going to build the farm, so it's most likely going to be quite a bit of other spaces mobs are going to spawn. But you could leave the nether fortress just as it is, don't spawn proof it. you're just going to have considerably lower rates. But since this is an AFK wither skeleton farm, you can just AFK for a longer period of time to get as many skulls as you need. Now, if you are spawn proofing, another area you might want to check is in the ceiling. There are these caves that can form inside the ceiling, and these areas are inside of the sphere around the player, and therefore mobs could be sitting in here instead of going inside your farm. So you could come in here and spawn proof those if you want to as well. So if you're one of those people that just enjoy AFKing and getting wither skulls without doing too much work, just build up the farm and do minimal amount of spawn proofing. But if someone that's trying to get more wither skulls, go ahead, take a little bit of time and either remove or put down buttons on areas where mobs can spawn outside your farm, as well as in the caves that are above the farm. Now you could also improve the rates of the farm by removing the bedrock above the farm. It wouldn't be recommended to do all that effort just to increase the rates by a small amount. So I'll show you guys the steps which I took in order to try to find a good location to build this, as well as getting some of the trickier things into the positions where they're currently at. So the biggest thing you can do to make your farm easy to build is find the right location. If you know the seed of your server, you can always load it up in a creative world and fly around and look for other fortresses that are above the lava. And if you happen to be working in your world and you find one of these locations, you can always save the coordinates for a day where you want to build up a wither skeleton farm there. Now what I did to actually find this fortress is I kind of took an even easier route. We actually had the ProtoTech SMP map rendered using Map Crafter, and I just looked into the Nether with a top-down view, and I seen this lake here, which is orange thing, and I see another fortress that's inside of it. Even though our world was generated back like in 1.7, 1.8, and the newer Nether fortresses are a little bit different, I knew this area was highly likely to have a nice Nether fortress in the center of the lava. And it's not that far away from our spawn either. It's less than 1,000 blocks away. And this is the tool Map Crafter. If you want to look into it, you can download your whole map and get a cool visual from above. You can also use a mist tool to try to find where Nether fortresses are and then check to see if there's lava lakes there in like a backup world of yours. But mist doesn't work in the Nether for showing the Nether terrain. It only shows you where the Nether fortresses are at. Once you found a location, you want to find an intersection, which is plus symbols right here, and you want to find one that is closest to the center of your lava lake, so you have a minimal amount of work you have to do. And this one over here was great. You can also see how I have the farm sitting in compared to the Nether fortress. Nether fortress walkway is down here. This is the way you want to lay the farm out. That way each layer will have mobs that are from the Nether fortress. If you make it too high or too low, then you'll just get pigment as well as magma cubes. Next up, you want to tear down the Nether fortress around the area. I recommend tearing down about 2 extra blocks around it. This way, magma cubes that jump off of this, especially the tiny ones, won't accidentally get pushed down underneath and into this rail system underneath here. Otherwise, they'll bump into your minecarts and could stop them. So even on this side, went ahead and removed 2 blocks, just low enough so that the magma cubes would fall over here and then be able to fall down here if they need to. You can always clear away more if you want to. Then put in your spawning layers and make sure to build up a wither rose farm. That is a key part of the farm as it kills off all the non-wither mobs. That way you can get some really good spawns, as every time the mobs die, new mobs will immediately get spawned back into the farm, allowing you to get some really good rates and tons of different items. You can also put in the rail system as well if you want to collect those loots. It's just a rail system that goes back and forth that's all connected to this system over here, and that's just all redstone device. Allow the hopper minecart to unload and put its items into these chests right here. Now to get the iron golems into here, you just need to spawn an iron golems. It's pretty easy getting iron golems out really far, as you can clear all the materials needed, build them just in your hotbar. And to remove this guy, you just need to make sure that there is air on either side. And you put the iron golem in like this. So underneath these arms, you make sure there's air. And once the iron golem is in place, just go ahead and put some bubble walls on either side. That will keep them in place. He is standing on top of some snow layers. There is 7 snow layers there, and underneath there is a block to hold them up. Both of these are exactly the same. And the turtle egg is to help the pigmen die more quickly, as they can kind of die pretty slowly on the wither rose. But if they drop and they fall to their death from this here, they're going to die a little more quickly. So just increase the rates. And the turtle egg that's sitting in here is a cool trick that TechMan88 showed me, where if you have a turtle egg that is hid behind some trapdoors and you have at least 2 air blocks above it, the pigmen will try to go to it, even if they can't get to it, and break it. This way you can protect your turtle egg, yet you can still use it to lure pigmen over to it. Now we also have 2 layers, and what we're doing is we have some lava here just to reset the fall damage, as if the wither skeletons fall from the top there, and we don't have that lava there to reset their fall damage. When they hit the bottom, they're actually going to immediately die, and since the dogs didn't kill them, you won't get any wither skulls. And the main reason why we have to make sure both layers of wither skeletons are left with only 1 heart when they fall to the bottom is so that when the dogs attack them, there are 1-hit kill. This is very important because, as I've shown you guys in the past, they made some changes to the way dogs attack mobs. So now dogs need to have line of sight, meaning they have to be able to see the wither skeleton's head. So if I do F3 plus B, you can see the little red line where the dogs use as their eyes. Very small, thin red line. And that red line has to be able to see the wither skeleton's red line, which is right there. And if you would not do it, you can see this wither skeleton was one that I just summoned in, and the wither skeleton is actually able to turn around and attack the dog if you don't go ahead and have the wither skeleton a 1-hit kill. In the past, you could just have the dog immediately attack the wither skeleton, and the wither skeleton wouldn't be able to see the dog to attack back. But because of those changes, we need to make sure dogs don't take any damage. Otherwise, they will die very quickly in this farm if you don't have them 1-hit kill. That's also why we put in this drop shaft, as my original idea was to have the dogs directly inside the farm, killing the wither skeleton, just like my old farms in the past from 1.8. But we worked on this for a couple of weeks. We couldn't find a way to get the dogs to attack the wither skeletons without the wither skeletons having a chance to attack the dogs. The best thing that we came up with was to have the wither skeletons just almost be about dead, so once the dogs hit them, they will die. We designed the majority of this farm up during our Twitch streams. And a lot of you guys came on to help. I had a lot of help from Techman88 as well as Gabby, both of which have also designed similar wither skeleton farms using dogs and wither roses and iron golems. And I'll link their videos down below. And Poison Digger also helped. Also, Logical Geek Boy designed a wither skeleton farm using the same concept as well. This farm produces a lot of different items, as I have shown you down here. Items in this chest is 1 hour of running the farm while just being AFK. You see all the different types of stuff that we got, including all these bones. And we almost got a whole stack of wither skulls. You'll probably get around 1 wither skull per minute with this farm, as the player isn't killing the wither skeletons, therefore you cannot apply the looting effect to them. This is why you'll get slightly less skulls than other wither skeleton farms that I've showed you guys in the past. But this one is considerably easier to build up. And if you want to have more wither skulls, just AFK for more time. Like I went ahead and AFK'd this farm overnight, and I had an insane amount of wither skulls when I woke up in the morning. Now I'll show you guys how you can get these dogs over here into Nether into these minecarts, as this may seem like the most trickiest part of the farm. What you want to do is find a wolf that's somewhat near spawn, so this is our spawn point, and go ahead and tame the wolf. Now it is your dog. Then what you want to do is make the dog sit. The next you want to do is go to your nether fortress. It doesn't matter how far your nether fortress is, this will work. So I'm going to head over to where I'm going to build the farm. And then what you want to do is build a portal kind of close to the farm. And I also recommend building the portal somewhat above the farm. This makes it easier to put the dogs in place. It's always easier to drop stuff downwards than it is to move stuff upwards. Go ahead and make your nether portal. I just put it right here. You need to remove it afterwards. That way it doesn't interfere with the farm because it produces light. It also provides spots for mobs to spawn. Now when you hop through this portal, you kind of see where this is going to take you. So it took us right inside of a spawner. Kind of funny. It happened to be the appropriate size for a portal. The reason why I generate underneath the ground is because we're just underneath the water. That's okay. What we'll do is we'll just secure the portal so that we don't have any problems with mobs. Now what we want to do is head back to spawn. This is where your dog is still at, and what we want to do is make a device so that the dog is dropped into water after a certain amount of time. We'll just go underneath of the dog and we'll just put in a trapdoor that he can sit on, and then underneath that trapdoor we're just going to put in some water. Then we'll just make a simple clock so that after a certain amount of time the dog will drop into the water. You want to make sure this trapdoor is on the bottom of the block, so that when it opens up it faces upwards. Go ahead and put that dog in there. Now what we'll do is just put in a redstone device which has a comparator and a chest here and a hopper, and what we'll do is we'll put a bunch of items side of the hopper. And once those items are completely gone, it's going to power this torch back on again. Go ahead and put redstone right there. And depending on how long it takes you to get back to another fortress, you can fill this whole thing full of items as well. The way this is going to work is that we're here in spawn chunks, which are going to be loaded no matter where you are in overworld. And we're going to go to the other location, which is near the fortress. And we're just going to stand there AFK. And then once the dog falls into the water, he's going to teleport to us because he fell in water and he tries to get back to his owner. We're going to be far away. And then he's going to be really close to our another fortress farm. So let's go ahead and see what items are left. And I'm just going to take some items out of here, and then I will go through here, and I'm just going to teleport to the fortress. So you just hop into another port and you'd walk to your fortress area. And then once you go here, then you can hop back through your portal to overworld. Now we're here, and now we just wait until our dog teleports to us. There you see it. The dog just teleported to us. That's how you get your dog out super far. No matter how far you are in the world, this trick will work. So now we just push our dog into the nether portal. Make sure it is somewhat safe from the other side. Keep him in sitting position as well. Now he goes through the nether portal. And you would do this trick with 2 dogs. And once you have 2 dogs, then you can go ahead and breed up the rest of the dogs you need for the farm. Make sure to knock out your nether portal as well as spawn proof it so mobs spawn on it. Once you have your dogs here, you probably want to keep them in a little spot. You can breed them while they're sitting as well. Keep them safe. When it comes time to put them inside of a minecart, you just need some normal rails and a minecart. And just put the normal rails in an L shape like this. And have the dog sit on the curved one and then place down a rail right there and they'll immediately come up. That's how you can easily get dogs inside of minecarts. Then all you have to do is then just use the rails to transport the dogs over to each of their pins. This dog here, you can see we have a trapdoor like this. And the way I do that is go ahead and you just put in some scaffolding blocks. Trapdoor goes like this, and you close it like that. And then you just move your dog over into this position over here. Like so. And then you can go ahead and click that trapdoor and then push them as much as you can. As you can see, I can't push them anymore because my player is pushing up against this trapdoor. And you can do this on all the sides just so he is kind of centered right there. That is perfect. Now you got your dog in place for each of your dogs, and you can also drop the dogs downwards for the bottom part down here. Just make sure to have them dropped onto a rail so they don't take any damage or like on some slime blocks. Then you can just drop them into little cubby holes. These guys are just sitting on top of hoppers, and these hoppers just help pick up items because when items fall out, they're going to fly off to the side. They could fall into these holes with the dogs, or they could land on top of here, but we got hoppers all the way around. Pick up all the items and send them down into storage down below. That is probably the hardest part about the farm, and as you can see, if you take these steps, maybe even practice it in creative ahead of time, you shouldn't have any trouble getting this farm built up. And as always, with all my different farms I design, I provide you guys with the world download. So if you guys ever have any questions, or you think you built something not correct, or something doesn't work correctly, make sure to check out the world download because that will answer most of your questions. If you still have a question, be sure to go ahead and ask it down in the comments. That way, anybody who knows the answer can go ahead and answer it. And if you guys did enjoy this farm, be sure to go ahead and give the video a like as well as share it with someone else that you know that may need a wither skeleton farm, and anybody should be able to build this up. If you guys enjoy these type of farms, as well as learn about tips and tricks that can be done in your survival world, be sure to go ahead and subscribe. I'd like to thank everybody who came on the stream and helped us build this up. It only took us about an hour to design this. It's a little bit of tweaking off stream. And I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.